Emem is here from Nigeria. Today I'm really happy that she's in town. But she's the founder and executive director of Kebetkache Women Development and Resource Center. She's a women's rights activist and advocate from the oil-impacted Niger Delta region of Nigeria. She's a trainer, researcher, and campaigner against all forms of violence directed at women and the environment. She's currently undertaking a research into the impact of militarism on women in the Niger Delta. And this is a component of the strengthening women's activism against conflict and militarism in the West African sub-region. She has coordinated many networks and coalitions, including Gender and Constitution Reform Network, South-South Zone, National Coalition on Affirmative Action, Rivers, among others. And so please welcome Emem Okon.
Thank you very much. Well, Nicole, thank you for introducing me, and I'm happy to meet all of you. I thank all of you for coming out to this event and also listening to us. And I'm going to share briefly about my activities back home in the Niger Delta region. I work with an organization called Kebetkache Women Development and Resource Center. Kebetkache is an indigenous word that means wetland, and that describes the Niger Delta terrain because the Niger Delta is the wetland area. Have been into women organizing since 1998, and before I founded Kebetkache Women Development and Resource Center, I was also a member of Women in Nigeria. Women in Nigeria used to be one of those national organizations in the country, and most of the women organizations in Nigeria are led by people who were members of Women in Nigeria. We are actually working on 4 thematic focal areas, including democracy and governance, peace and security, environment, reproductive health, and organizing around activities of oil and gas activities in the Niger Delta region. The women that took over the Chevron oil tank farm in July 2002 have been part of the training programs that I have conducted in the Niger Delta region. And I'm sure all of you are aware of that action that actually made news in international media. The women were able to stop work for 10 days at the Chevron oil tank farm, and they were also able to get a management staff of Chevron to come down to the Niger Delta to discuss with the women. And the Niger Delta is the patriarchal society, so in most cases women do not take part in decision making. So at the point of negotiation with the management staff of the oil company, the state government intervened by sending a representative to the negotiation table. The community leaders also sent their representatives. The youth leaders were also there. So at that point, the women did not really have the power to place their demands on the table. The negotiation was taken over by the male-dominated community leaders and the government structures. But the women in the Niger Delta have not given up. There have been other protest actions and peaceful demonstrations by the women at the community level, at the state level. And women in the Niger Delta region have also been part of national women organizing in Nigeria, like making input during the constitutional reforms. And after the general elections of 2007, Niger Delta women, which I led in the South-South Zone, were part of the women action to protest the irregularities that characterized the 2007 elections. And one of the demands of that action, the Black Band campaign, as we titled it, was that the Yar'Adua-led government should apologize to the women and the Nigerian nation for the malpractices that characterized the 2007 election. And Yar'Adua actually did that because we submitted letters to the Aso Villa, we submitted letters to the different state government. In the South-South, where I led the action, after reading the protest letter in front of the Office of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Port Harcourt, we took the letters to the government house, and also to the offices of the key political parties in Rivers State. Women has also been at the forefront of campaigning against the violence and conflict in the Niger Delta region, because as a result of the oil politics and the environmental issues and the response by the youths in the Niger Delta through armed struggle, women have been the people that are suffering the impact of the violence, the impact of the conflict. And we started mobilizing in 2007, holding Mothers for Peace rallies at the community level, holding radio shows, paying advocacy visits to relevant stakeholders, and calling on the boys to drop every weapons of violence. And the women are still on that till this moment. But the federal government is implementing the amnesty program, and there is nothing as part of that amnesty program to address the interests of the women. The whole focus of the amnesty program is on the combatant youth, and the government is not paying any attention to address the interests and the concerns of the women who suffered the impact and bore the brunt of the militancy activities in the Niger Delta. This is also a focus of what we are doing in the Niger Delta region. We have also been campaigning against violence against women. Over the years, we have been able to get most of the state governments in the Niger Delta region to pass a law against harmful traditional practices, including female genital mutilation and widowhood practices. And what we do is to use this legislation as a tool to campaign against these practices at the community level. And during the World Social Forum in Dakar, what we did was to pick representatives of these women that we have been working with at the community level to be part of the training at the Indymedia Center in Dakar. And the Dakar experience to the women, one was linking what they have been doing at the local level to what has been going on at the international level. So it was like a global, local connection. That is what we achieved at the Dakar meeting. And besides, we were also able to bring together women from different communities. Some of them have not really been in contact with each other before. So we were able to create that solidarity with these women who have been in the same region but have not really worked together. And we were also able to create that linkage between those women and people like Sowore and Sahara reporters. Few of them have heard about Sahara reporters, but they had not really had that linkage with Sahara reporters. So it was a forum where they were able to connect and then build solidarity with the international organizations in Dakar. Also, Dakar was also able to build our skills on the media. We have not really used the media at the local level the way we are supposed to be using it. But we discovered that the media is a powerful tool to push forward the women's interest in the Niger Delta, because women have done a lot of things at the local level which nobody has heard of at the national level and also at the international level. Because apart from that action in July 2002, there have been several other women protest actions in the Niger Delta region against the government, against the oil companies that nobody is aware of. So the IMC in Dakar was able to create that awareness among those women. And also, most of them were exposed to computer skills for the first time. They were able to use the computer, they were able to create their web pages, and they were able to send mails to other people, and it was like opening another phase of activism to the women. What we need to do at this stage, before we left Dakar, I told Amy that we are going to set up Kebetkache. That that is to inspire us as an organization so that we can keep connecting with those women and also create that a sense of ownership of information that is coming out from their community, so that they'll be able to get the information and also post it to the international media, so that people will be able to get information directly from people who are being impacted by what is going on in the Niger Delta region. For the 2011 elections, Kebetkache has been able to train women at the community level to monitor the electoral process. Some of them had taken note and observed what happened during the party primaries. Some of them are also monitoring the campaigns before the elections. And as we are entering the first of the election in April 2011, they are also going to observe what is going on. Do we have enough materials? What violence is taking place? Who is fighting who? The result, the proper result that is supposed to come out from a local government area or from a particular polling station, who is hijacking ballot boxes. That is exactly what the women are looking out for. And before we started this, we had a discussion with Sowore that we will be able to link up with him so that the women can be posting information about what is going on in their communities, in their local government area, so that people will know what is going on. Well, I want to end by saying that the challenge we are facing now is that the Dakar training was not enough for me as an individual and also for the women. So there will be need for further training to be able to integrate everything we have learned, and also to be able to set up that Kebemedia station, not necessarily in Kebetkache as an organization, but to ensure that those women can carry out, can send out information from their community where they are based. Thank you very much.